You know, my God is a God of hope. He doesn't want our hope to die. Jesus gives me lots of hope. He says, don't let it die. The Apostle Paul wrote in Corinthians, the greatest of these is faith, hope, and love. Hope is so important. Hope is the soil that faith grows in. You ever hope for something? Hope when you were little, maybe you hoped to be a princess, or you hoped to be a queen, or a king, or a fireman, or a policeman. Hope is so important, and sometimes hope can die, like a dream or a broken heart allows hope to die. But God says Jesus heals the brokenhearted. And God has always been the God of hope. In the Old Testament, he was still a God of hope. And he told the Israelites, you're going to move to the promised land. And it was the coolest thing. But even when they sinned against him and went their own way, God still had hope. He still instilled hope in them so that the kingdom, God's kingdom, would still be advancing. And he still poured his love and hope over them, even though they weren't listening to him. And he does that to us today. Even when we go our own way and chase our own silly things, and he still has hope. God has more hope in you to know him. And that hope does not die, and he chases us. And he always puts people in our path that show us God in kindness, in mercy, in love. Sure, there's other people in our lives that don't show us those things. In fact, they show us the exact opposite. But God is faithful, and he's always there, and he's always encouraging us to have hope. In Isaiah 29, verses 22 through 24, it says this, and finally this. And so there was all this bad stuff that God was talking about because the children of Israel had left him. And we can actually, I could say, even though that's old covenant, it still applies today. And even though the family of Jacob and Israel in today's standards would be like God's church, Jesus's people. So it goes like this. And finally this, God's message to the family of Jacob. The same God who redeemed Abraham. No longer will Jacob hang his head in shame. No longer grow gaunt and pale for waiting. He's going to see his children. My personal gift to him. Lots of children. And these children will honor me with holy lives. In holy worship they'll honor the Holy One of Jacob and stand in awe of the God of Israel. Those who got off track will get back on track, and the complainers and whiners will learn gratitude, which alone is awesome. But basically this, God had hope for his children. He still has hope for us, and he's still instilling hope. And not only that, to me, when I read this, I think of my grandmother praying for me. I think of my mom praying for me and my kids. And I think of the generations past praying for their grandchildren and children's children on down, the lives they lived. And you know what? God is faithful. Those prayers don't have a shelf life. God is faithful, and he chases us down. And when you love him and you start praying for your family, for the generations down, he hears those, and he chases us. And he says, don't lose hope. You will see it. You will see it. What am I saying? I'm saying this. God is going to be faithful to his promise to you. To you. God is faithful. That's his nature. And not only is his nature to be faithful, it's to blow you away with his faithfulness. It's to blow you away that your mind cannot comprehend how down to the nth degree God is going to be faithful to you, and he's going to show you all his mercies and grace. And all that's required of you and me is to turn our face to God and say, Thank you, Lord. What do you want to do today? I'm listening. Simple. This is a simple, simple thing. And we each can do it. We can all show God's grace. We can all show God's glory just by being with Him. And it just overflows into everybody else's life. An overflow means literally you have more than you can carry. That's what overflow is. So, I pray God blesses you today. I pray God shows you His faithfulness. Maybe you need something to pray about. Maybe it's time to ask God, what can I pray for? Can I pray for a spouse? Can I pray for my children? Can I pray for my children's children? Can I pray for whoever? Can you show me abundance? Can you show me your faithfulness? Maybe it's time to know God. So I pray God blesses you. I pray God blesses you from heaven above with His goodness, His mercy, and His grace, and that His faithfulness is made known to you. God bless you. Indeed. Have a great day.